A woolly mammoth, a sloth, and a saber-toothed tiger walk into the Ice Age. So it raises the question, does this prehistoric adventure still hold up for the whole family? We're putting Ice Age to the test to see if it's still worth the watch. Grab some popcorn and find out with us because we're watching another movie at Grandma's. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Welcome to Movies at Grandma's House, where we love to revisit our movies from our childhood to answer the question, does it still hold up? And is it family-friendly enough that even Grandma will approve? And I'm your host, Isaac. I don't like this cat. It can read minds.
And I'm Seth. If you find a mate in life, you should be loyal, and in your case, grateful.
Welcome, one and all. It's great to see you, Seth. What's Grandma putting on for us to watch today?
2002's Ice Age.
So, if you have not seen this film, we're going to be talking about it, how it was revisiting after so many years, what we think of the film today. So going forward, if you have not seen it, this is spoiler territory, so consider yourself warned. While Grandma's fooling around with the VCR, trying to figure that thing out, let's look at the back of the cover for some film facts. So Ice Age was released back on March 15th, 2002. It had a budget of $65 million. The box office, $383.2 million. Looking around at some reviews, IMDb is at a 7.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 76%. Letterboxd is a 3.6 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can watch it in numerous spots such as Disney+, Fubo TV, Sling TV, and YouTube Premium, among others. It stars Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, or however you say his name, Denis Leary, and even Jack Black, among many others. It's in association with 20th Century Fox Animation, and we have to find out. How does Grandma feel about this one?
Granny's family-friendly rating for Ice Age is a C+ for intense scenes and adult themes.
So, we want to hear from you. Be sure you leave your comment down below. Any thoughts, memories that you have, we'd love to hear them. We'll give you a shout out as well. Well, let's jump into it, Seth. I'm really interested to hear. This was back in 2002 when it first came out. The very first Ice Age. It became a franchise, but we're just talking about the very first one. So what's your first memories with this one?
So I do recall seeing this when it was fairly new. Maybe it was a rental night or something. But yeah, I don't think I saw this one in theaters.
For me, it was the opposite. I can actually remember going to the theater and watching this one. And we really liked it. It has that humor and things like that we'll discuss more about. But I just recall that memory. Some things are more fuzzy. This one, I actually have that core memory. It's pretty clear. It was just a fun day that we went and saw it. I do have a hot take with this, though. It's going to be pretty spicy, Seth. I'm going to put a pin in it to tease a little bit. We'll come back to it concerning that day when we went and saw it. So keep that in mind. But with that said, what were your expectations then coming back on the rewatch?
So it had been a while since I had last viewed this. I wasn't really sure exactly what to expect, but with that said, I was pretty sure with the cast that I was going to enjoy it.
Very nice. Yeah, for me, I've seen it here and there. It's still kind of been a while, so I was kind of excited to come back to this because, like I mentioned, we saw it in theaters, and it was just kind of sporadic here and there. We'd watch it. I remember we owned it, those types of things. But I was, again, as usual, interested to see what my kids would think, and again, that question, is it still good today, even though we watched it and enjoyed it at the time? What's it like today? Well, before we get into the plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors. Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. All right, let's take the VHS out of the cover. Let's put it into the VCR and press play.
You take a woolly mammoth, a sloth, and add in a saber-toothed tiger, and you'd think it's going to be an epic adventure. But wait, the Ice Age is coming. Not only that, but these unlikely three team up to return a human child to its father. With comedy, action, and some real heartwarming scenes, we're back to watch another animated story at Grandma's house. Get comfy and bundle up for another journey.
Okay, this is one of those films I just recognize as soon as I see it. It's right off the bat showing you Scrat, this I forget what kind of animal it is, but it's like a squirrel kind of animal that, as you come to find out, a lot of these animals are extinct or whatnot during the Ice Age. And it hits the ground running, literally. I mean, it's just action-packed, but has that slapstick comedy to it. So that's what always jumps out to me is you could watch the first few seconds and you know this film. It just has that kind of appeal to it. But I'm interested to hear, what's kind of your first impressions as you are watching this film?
So I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the animation was extremely simplified, but not to the point for me where it was too distracting. But the voiceovers really told the story, and for this one, for sure.
Yes, I agree. The animation's a little bit more on the simple side, and it's good. This is 2002 we're talking about, and I think it hasn't aged the best, if you want to be honest, because they do go simple, but they almost try to go a little realistic at the same time. And by today's standards, I mean, you're going to notice that. However, I like this animation. I think it's unique. Again, I can recognize it. I can see Scrat. I can see, Sid and Manny and Diego. They're all recognizable as soon as you see them. They have that unique style to them. So we've talked about it at length, like you said, of animation. This is one I actually like, even though I've maybe bashed simple, I like simple. This is a good example of I like the animation. Even if it's a little rough around the edges, like there's rocks that are very simple. Like they look like one color, almost so simple. It doesn't bother me. I don't know if it bothers other people, but for me personally, I think it was fine. And I'm more concerned about the plot, the characters, that type of thing. So open up to you. What did you think of this story, the setting taking place during the Ice Age?
Plot was surprisingly complex. I loved the premise. I love the characters. The plot was emotional and at times intense, but overall, it was a fun journey and it was told very well.
I agree. This is actually a more loaded plot than you remember. When I first saw it, I just thought, hey, it's just this funny animation. I've Scrat always comes to mind of that side comedy. That's kind of what you think of with this movie. But I was thinking, oh yeah, that's just these animals trying to survive and that sort of thing. When then you get into Manny's character, like this watch, I come to appreciate Manny's character. We'll talk about characters more, but the plot centers around his backstory a lot, and it develops so well. I was actually kind of more immersed this time around than the last viewing because of that. I don't think I really appreciated his backstory, and that's what kind of drives it along. That's kind of that interaction with the plot of these animals trying to survive, but they're all different personalities when you really break it down. As much as they work together, you have just open up to you, with the characters. What'd you think of the characters? Kind of, I feel like it's very close with the plot. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the characters tell this story, not so much like a narration or anything, but like the actual characters kind of push it forward. I saw that the three leads, Manny, Sid, and Diego, were all done very well, and they told this adventure, even though it had a heavy plot, they did really well.
Yeah. They're a bunch of misfits, if you want to break it down. I mean, Manny's on his own. We'll talk about it more. He had a family. Now he's by himself. Sid is just so annoying that it still cracks me up. He wakes up and he's like, oh, they left me again. I just, he gets the hint, but he doesn't. Oh, why would they leave me? What's wrong with, I don't understand. But Diego is this, he's wanting to kind of be a leader of his pack with the saber-tooths, and they're the ones that I think they're just called sabers. But point being, he is trying to get back at the humans. That's the leader. They want that baby. That's what the plot is. And now these misfit characters, like you said, they drive the plot because you're watching them survive the elements and try to get this baby back. And that's where I go back to Manny's character. Like, he really adds to the plot because you're like, why is he wanting to save this baby so much? Why is he, because he acts like he's not interested, but if you pay close attention, you see he cares. Did you catch up on that or catch that too?
I did. I watched it twice in preparation, and I noticed that the second time around a lot. Yeah, that was really well done scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Sid's just kind of clueless because he's like, we should get the kid back. He's all about it. But Manny's like, oh, whatever. And then that scene, I mean, it's kind of jumping ahead. But when you come to find out that he had a family one time, it's a powerful scene. Like, it hits me in the feels just talking about it. Like, I can't imagine, as much as this is a CGI woolly mammoth that's been extinct for how many years. And it's like, it's impactful. Just the way it was done, the way it was shot. He sees that cave painting. And you just feel for him. You're like, oh, and up to that point, you're like, why is he so grumpy? Why is he just this, mean person to everybody? He's sarcastic, voiced by Ray Romano. So it comes across. I love it. Just the way those lines are delivered. But you still are like, what's up with this Manny? He's just so mean. And then it's like, oh, light bulb. It goes off. And it's just, I'm still impressed today of how well that scene is. But yeah, what'd you think of like his character arc, or even the others? You can talk about Sid or Diego or any others.
They're all they all have extreme character arcs. I would say Diego had the biggest, in my opinion. We can maybe touch on that. I don't know if we want to touch on that later. I feel like all of this is spoiler territory. Like, this is the whole podcast is spoiler territory on this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His whole scheme to get the baby and then like set up Manny, and it's just like, it is very complex, and the arc of him kind of coming around and turning around in his plot was really well done. I mean, and then I don't think there's a whole lot of arc for Sid, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a good journey, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Diego has like the more noticeable arc because they're, again, the Saber Pack, the story starts with them wanting to ambush this caveman or human tribe, and they wipe out some people. I mean, for a kids movie, that's where it kind of gets dark. It's like, whoa, they're really going there. And unfortunately, the mother dies. She's protecting the baby, so it even shows that. That's where you kind of see Manny taking on the baby at first, like saving it. That's where I picked up on little cues like that, especially if you rewatch it. You pick up those little cues there. But yeah, Diego is kind of playing this like two-faced character. Like, no, I'm just trying to take the baby back, but he's joining them and saying, I can be your tracker in order to double cross them. And then that's where the baby, because the leader of the Sabers wants to send a message to the humans, because the humans have, obviously back then, they're hunters and so on and so forth. But yeah, Diego, I love his character arc. It's just great.
What you just said there is so complex. I mean, there's so much detail and finite information for the storyline. I mean, it's so layered, and I loved it. I ate it up. I really did.
Yes. Those are the types of things you just don't think about. Again, I go back to, like, I think of Scrat and the fun of him trying to get this acorn and plant it, and all this chaos happens around him just constantly. I mean, my kids were just cracking up at that. That's what they probably laughed at the most with Scrat. And that's what you think of. But then when you come back to it, like you said, there's so many layers to the plot. And I love those little details that you don't pick up on the first time, because you talk about Diego's progression, his arc. It pays off. It's not one of those like, well, there's no payoff. Like, it just came out of left field. I go back to that scene. That's probably one of my favorite scenes, as much as it's a heavy moment with Manny in the cave. Sid is being all wacky and talking, and Diego's like, Sid, like, stop, calm down. This is something's bothering him. And there's a little cut. You'll blink and miss it when they're walking out of the cave where those cave paintings were. Diego kind of has this conflicted look, like, little stuff like that adds so much to the characters. And for kids, family movie, I don't know how, but it just comes across so well. It's kind of got the whole package because here we are talking about the plot and the characters, but this is a funny movie. Maybe kind of throw you a curveball there. What'd you think of the comedy, that aspect of it? Again, this is an animated feature.
What's surprising to me is that it balances out quite well. There's so much comedy in this film, but then there's so much drama, intensity, and everything all within seconds of each other. And it just really, it surprised me. I hadn't seen it in many, many years, and I was taken aback by it. I really was.
Yeah, because we quoted this for years. There's a lot of quotes with this movie, and I kind of teased it a little bit. So this is a hot take. This is a little bit of a spicy. I'm trying to prepare you for this, and this is just going back and recollecting the memories. But during this time, it wasn't the same weekend. It might have been like the weeks kind of lined up. Monsters, Inc. was kind of the movie at that time. Pixar had just come out with it, I think, a few months earlier. We watched that also in the theater. I remember going and seeing that, and we really liked Monsters, Inc. The hot take is, I remember us talking as a family, and we kind of liked the animation better in Ice Age. And I know that's a hot take because Pixar and Monsters, they were groundbreaking with Sully and the hair, and we loved the animation too. But we just did that whole, you're walking out of the theater, you have that conversation back and forth. What did you like about this? What did you think of that? And I just had this memory for some reason that we were talking about like the baby character, the expressions, how expressive this baby, because the baby also kind of steals the show on the comedy too of its reactions and what it's doing in each scene. So that's the kind of the hot take about it of like, we kind of like this. I wouldn't say better than Monsters, Inc., but we kind of gravitated towards this one. They had a lot of quotes that we would say. I mean, there's the dodo scene. That's probably one of my favorite ones. It's dark, but the one goes off the cliff and one whispers the other, there goes our last female. Like, I don't know how I was able to fit that quote in, but quotes like that we would say all the time to each other. So this is kind of one of those, I kind of got on a rant there of just talking about that memory. But yeah, it's one of those, the comedies, I've always appreciated the comedy in that. But is there any quotes or ones that you appreciated?
I got 3 quick quotes. They're very, very short. The first one was, "Oh, carnivores have all the fun." So I love that line. To me, that's just too funny. Also, hey, does this look like a petting zoo to you? And then they migrated without me. They do this every year.
Yeah. That's the quote. Him not getting the hints is just great. I love just like the sarcasm. I go back to Ray Romano. He does a great Manny, and just that sarcasm. They're trying to cross the lava part, and Sid's just like, I wish I could jump like that when Diego jumps. And so Manny goes, wish granted. Boom, and hits him. I thought that was hilarious. I forgot to mention too, with my nephew, my brother, what he used to do is he would do the "where's the baby?" There he is, where it scares the child. So that's another thing, and I used to do it with my kids too. So that's another, like, going back to quotes we would do throughout the years. That's another one that comes to mind. I caught a quote I didn't catch the first time. Did you catch where Sid was doing pack of? They're in conversation talking about a pack, and he's like, pachydermist, pack of lies. And I was like, I never caught that. That's a nod to Phil Collins and the pack of lies from In the Air Tonight. It was just so random. That's what this movie has. If you pay close attention, they give little nods to stuff like that. So I'm always a sucker for those kind of quotes. So
yeah.
But anything else that I know we've touched on a good bit for, again, I'm just still surprised how deep this movie is, but anything else that you wanted to bring out?
So there's a scene, and I will say again, spoiler alert, just for those who haven't seen it, you may not want to listen to this part. Come back. So just after the epic fight scene, we see them return the boy to his father, And there's a lot of raw emotions playing out in this sequence. The father is worried about his safety, and his group of they are ready to fight. And then he shows the father his son, and even though it's animated, you feel their energy shift, and like you were saying, the expressiveness. The father becomes so grateful and relieved to see his son again, and I felt like my heart warmed over this scene because it looks so bleak, but then turns out to have a happy ending. I feel like having these two scenes back to back really showcased just how strong a movie this was.
Yeah. I love that scene too. I talk about the cave scene with Manny. You realize about his family, but that's another scene I really appreciate. I mean, I love the comedy. Don't get me wrong. Like, we could go on and on about the comedy, and that's really what highlights this movie. But I love just kind of focusing on the, like you're saying, the heavy moment of they cut back to the human, and you feel the weight of him, because here he just lost his wife, and now he's just desperate to find his child, because he's tracking the Sabers. The Sabers are kind of leading Manny and Sid to ambush them. And so by that point, again, we've talked spoilers, but it works out. Diego actually wants to be a part of Manny and Sid. He sacrifices himself. He jumps in front to shield Manny, because that would have been the death blow really to Manny. And then that scene that you're talking about. So it's a lot of heavy stuff going on, but it balances out with the comedy so well. I don't know how some movies can just do that so well. Sometimes it's forced. This is not that time. It's just something I eat up. I'm with you.
And then on those two scenes, I think are both bookcased, like bookends, by funny scenes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow, how are they able to accomplish this within like 10 minutes of each other? It's like crazy emotions.
Yes. Got to hand it to them. Just the pacing, the way they develop the plot story, it warms your heart, because that's another thing. It's a heavy moment, but that's how I feel about that scene every time, because here's a father like, what is this mammoth doing here? And like you said, they're about to fight. But then when he sees his son, it's just like he almost, his expression, the way, and that's where I go back to our family. We were talking about how it was animated, the expressions. And you can't compare this to Monsters, Inc. I'm not trying to do that at all, but I just think that's one thing we were like, I wish they would have done a little bit more like Ice Age. That was something we really liked about this movie, was just the expressions and the animation. So scenes like that you're talking about, I don't know if they would have been as powerful if they didn't convey those emotions like they did. So got to hand it to them. They did such a good job with that. All right. Well, I'm really anxious to hear again. This is 20 plus years ago that this came out, so I'm sure there's got to be some good fun facts.
I'll do my best. All right. So the first one I've got here is John Leguizamo tried 30 different voices for Sid. After watching the Sloth documentary, he learned that they store food in their mouths, and this led to him coming up with that voice.
I love that. That is so clever that he would think that, because that just comes across. We don't know. I don't know what an actual sloth sounds like, but if it could talk like a human, I don't know how he nailed it, but that's how I picture.
Yeah, I mean, it works perfectly.
That's great.
The film was originally intended as a drama, but Fox would only accept it if it's a children's comedy.
So it was originally a drama. Like, it wouldn't have been
a kid family friendly at all, probably.
Well, there's moments like that. I mean, we kind of touched on the obvious heavy moments, but there is a lot of death in this movie. There's a lot of just animals. It's the Ice Age. I mean, it's a lot of extinct animals. I just talked about the dodos. You literally watch the whole species keep falling off cliffs and into the like tar and stuff. And then, I mean, at the end there with Diego, you see the leader of the pack, the icicles fall down and stuff. So it would have been a lot darker if they didn't make it more family friendly. That's interesting.
And I wonder partially if it also had to do with the people they casted. Like, because I know they wanted them to, I don't think I brought this out in the fun facts. They wanted them to be more, like improvise more. And that might have something to do with the fact that there's this more heavy comedy than it is drama. But I'm just saying that's speculation.
I think it makes sense, though. I agree.
The next one is that this was Jack Black's first animated film.
I would not have got that on trivia if he would have made that, because I'm thinking he had other.
Oh man, that would have been better than what I got.
I was like, it has to be one of his first ones for sure. But to make it official, that's really neat. I mean, how many has he done now? Dozens and dozens at least.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got to be up there close to 20, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah.
So the next one was, and you'll really appreciate this because you're a big fan. So James Earl Jones and Ving Rhames were originally considered to play Manny.
Oh, man, that would have been cool, but I just like Ray Romano in that.
Well, he plays that. He plays it perfectly, and a lot of people don't know that Ray Romano is actually a really good actor. He doesn't show it very often, but he is a very good dramatic actor.
This is voice acting, but it comes across. I mean, he's giving the comedy. That's what he is. He's a comedian. But I agree with you. Like a lot of those scenes we talked about, it's his delivery, and I know it's crazy to say it's a woolly mammoth and drama, but I mean, I agree. He's a good actor, and that's something that he doesn't get enough credit for, I think.
Yeah. And it's time for our fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm going to warm myself up. I'm feeling this ice age, so I'm going to
explain the question. I'm going to give it twice in a different verbiage because it's kind of hard to understand.
Okay.
So in Hollywood, when this was released, what number of completely full CGI films was this? So I'll say it again. Upon release, which number did this one land on for full-length CGI movies? Did you get it?
So just like in terms of a full-length movie release, what number was this?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So A, 6, B, 10, or C, 12. This is fully CGI. No, nothing else. No, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, full length, because that's where you have to clarify, because you think about traditional hand-drawn animation. There was CGI all the way back in the 80s, and those were just little clips. It wasn't. So you're talking a full length. I'm just going to count out what I know.
That's
and
fine.
See how that works. So you got Toy Story. You got Toy Story, you got A Bug's Life, you got Toy Story 2, Shrek should be in there. So you said 6. I think I'm missing a couple. Is that an answer with 6?
6, A is 6, B is 10, and C is 12.
I might be wrong, but I'm going to go with 6.
All right. So I'm going to clarify this. Okay. So the answer is B10. Sorry. But IMDb says there was 8, and I researched it and found out that this was the 10th completely CGI movie, and I looked them up, and it was like, there it is, and I'm like, okay, why did they put that on there anyway? So it was 10, and I think there are a few in between. You were right on it. You're right on it, but there was a few more in between just after Shrek between this, I think.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, well, I think there was movies like Titan AE that I thought was traditional, but maybe that was,
I didn't make a note of every single one. I just counted them.
Yeah. Something I'll have to look up. That's something,
Okay.
I mean, comment below. What are the list if you have to know?
That was a hard question, and I really feel bad because I didn't word it really well.
I liked it, though, because that tells me I need to do my research. I was like, I should know this one, but I was like,
you were right on it. You were right on it. I think you forgot Toy Story 2 was in there.
Yeah. I think I named it because I'm thinking, I forgot Monsters, Inc. That's what I forgot.
Yeah.
So there's where I was thinking it was 6. So, but it's all right. I will get the next one. I'll be ready to go. I just need to do my research a little bit better. Not cheating, but you know what I mean.
No, I got you. I totally get it because that was a curveball.
Yeah, I like it though. Got to keep me on my toes. Well, let's take a look around. We'd like to hear what people are thinking about the film. So, Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing out there?
So the first review is vegetable_milkshake said, a great, warm, funny movie in the golden age of 3D animation, 10 out of 10.
Wow, they really like it. This was kind of where CGI was really starting to get its footing. You had, like we just talked about, the early ones, and they were great. I mean, I could still watch those today. I mean, they came out just with a bang, but I agree. This was kind of the golden age of CGI really getting its footing.
The next one is the mysterious reviewer says this would have been better off a standalone 8 out of 10.
Better off as a standalone. I mean, maybe they just don't like the sequels. That's what they mean. This is a more modern review. So that makes sense if that's what they mean. But I mean, it was, when it came out, kind of its own complete story. I mean, it wraps up nicely. As much as you could hint at like Scrat, it does the like years later of him thawing out of the ice, like you were talking about. It has a nice bookend from the opening, but it felt like it was its own thing. So if we ever do consider the sequels, maybe we'll figure that out. Like, yeah, we kind of are in agreement with you on that one. We'll have to wait and see though.
So the last one, make a note of this name. So Indigo Rose 2025 said, nostalgic and sweet, 7 out of 10.
I agree with that. It's very nostalgic, but I mentioned why. If you watched it when it first came out, again, those CGI, but it's a sweet movie. Yeah, as much as we talked about the heavy elements, I mean, you gotta chuckle at least a few of the jokes, if not throughout the whole movie.
So real quickly, I just want to say it should be noted that this review that they gave was in 2021, and their name was Indigo Rose 2025, which I find hilarious for some reason.
Huh.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
They knew something we don't.
They're seeing it in the future.
Or they just thought, 2025 is going to be my year. And they just said,
right? Exactly.
Put it in my name. That's how confident I am. I don't know. That's still kind of cool. Yeah, when you look at things like that. And that's what I love about IMDb is like some of those reviews, you could tell they just walked out of the theater. So if it was a movie back in like 1999, back when the internet was still in its early stage, it's still there. Like, it's very fascinating.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Well, before we get to our reviews, we have what we call just kind of a kid test. It's something I have to give credit to Seth. He thought up this idea of making sure I don't miss out on what my kids' reaction to the movies are, because I do such a bad job on it. So I have 4 children. Right now, I have a 10-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So kind of getting a good idea of your age demographics on movies. When it came to Ice Age, everybody was kind of in agreement of wanting to watch this one. They kind of seemed to like it. I would say my oldest, he just thought it was kind of okay. He was laughing throughout. He wasn't like, oh, this is so amazing, though, if that makes sense. So he seemed to really enjoy it. My 8-year-old, he was the one that was like, let's put this on. He got really excited. He's got this infectious giggle laugh. So it was really fun watching with him because he's just giggling at Scrat. I mean, the Sid in general, just him falling or doing something silly throughout, he's just going to be great for the kids. The animation I go back to is well done on capturing the comedy. And for kids, they're going to eat it up. My 6-year-old, same thing. He really enjoyed the comedy. He was just laughing at Scrat. He was like belly laughing. That's how hard he was laughing at it. And just it's kind of ironic. You're watching this poor little like squirrel. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's in peril. And it's just like, ah, and then you see your kid just laughing hysterically. It's something else. But I will make a note when it comes to my 6-year-old and my 3-year-old, they were pretty similar. They just were laughing throughout. They did find those moments we were talking about with the sabers, those intense moments, they were kind of a little afraid, and they're ferocious predators. So that's just something to be mindful, maybe around the 5-year-old. Just keep that in mind. There might be 10 scenes that might scare them. My 3-year-old has recently had these nightmares. He's at that age. He saw something with their brothers with a gorilla. I know, kind of random. But I'm just thinking maybe if you show this to younger ones, it could be intense for them. I don't think it's too bad, but just something to keep in mind. If you're going to show this to your kids, be warned that, there are some intense scenes. And we talked about the heavier moments too. But overall, I think all the kids give it their approval. They all seem to love it. They love at least the comedy moments for sure. So let's get down to it. I got to ask you first, Seth. For Ice Age, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
As much as I wanted to take this one home, upon multiple viewings, I really felt strongly this is a solid watch it at grandma's. Hoping to revisit, and P.S., if they took out some of the violent scenes, I'd for sure have taken this home.
Right on. I agree with that. So I agree with your points about the intense scenes. Like, it's much more noticeable today, as much as the movies never changed. It's funny just how progressively things in your life change. I was much younger, and I remember just loving this movie. And coming back to it as an adult, I still do. I love this movie. I think it's got a well-rounded story. The characters are just great. I love their chemistry. And we talked about the character arcs, the way they interact with each other. They're just a bunch of misfits. I forget the quote, but Sid makes the one note of just like, "We are one weird herd," or something like that. It's hilarious. Like, just the way they almost acknowledge, yes, we're weird. We're a misfit. But they come together so well at the end. I can't help it. I agree with you on maybe the darker elements. Just be aware of that with the family. It's not, again, too bad, but younger kids might feel it's a little too intense. I'm still going to take this home because I do have the nostalgia factor. I think that definitely plays a part in that. It still holds up really well. I would say the animation might be a little rough around the edges, but it still holds up to me. Like, I could watch this anytime. If it's on, I'm going to probably stop what I'm doing and watch it. It's one of those I can get immersed in. It's not just kind of background noise. It's actually a movie I want to watch. So that's how I feel about it. But I am in agreement with you. I wish maybe a few moments I would have changed.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. Like, what else is there to say? It's got the nostalgia, the whole package, really, for me. Well, there it is, folks. Another film in the books. This was so much fun to revisit, go back through. Again, talking about the nostalgia, this just brought it all back. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We are on TikTok at Ladix Media. That's LADX Media. You can email us at moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a wonderful newsletter, so check that out. We're also on Patreon. And we're brought to you by movieposters.com. So use code Grandma's House at checkout for up to 15% off.
There you go. Yeah, be sure you're on our newsletter because we have a lot of goodies there. We are actually in development of getting some more free content for you. If you're all about family-friendly movies, you do not want to miss out. We also have giveaways. We have the free poster from movieposters.com. All you got to be is on the newsletter. It's simple as that. And every month you are entered in to win. So don't miss out. Go sign up. Link is down below. All that good stuff. Be sure to check it out. Well, that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's. But don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Everybody.